have a new game to show you today, and I'm not sure how to categorize it. Retrace the Light is a top-down Metroidvania 3D platformer where I'm a bit lost is the Metroidvania tag. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on Metroidvanias as a genre, but I think of large maps with a lot of backtracking when you unlock new abilities, a slow unlock of a large map, basically. Retrace the Light doesn't have this specific aspect. It presents the player with a nice linear progression. Hello and welcome to this episode of Pixel Journey, where I break down different games to see if they are right for you. Today's episode is all about Retrace the Light, a fantastic game with a core concept of time manipulation. So let's start and take a deep look into what confuses me about the Metroidvania tag. In Retrace the Light, you play as Enforcer Deachem, a worker for advanced AI known as Primus. The enforcers call her Mother, so we already have kind of an odd thing going on with the AI. The progression revolves around being assigned a mission by Mother, jumping into what is known as a mirror maze, completing your task, and then coming back to be assigned a new mission by Mother. I actually really love how streamlined this progression seems to be, and I think the Metroidvania aspect is actually seen inside the mirror mazes rather than the actual overworld. The missions involve going into places called mirror mazes, and they are physical representations of minds of humans that are basically going through extreme emotions. The mirror mazes will have you going through very windy and complex platforming sections, and you will be looking around every corner to find collectibles and modules. Some collectibles can be brought back home with you to your base and either given to different people for story progression or side missions, or just straight up sold for more money for upgrades. One thing you must do before actually paying for those upgrades, though, is finding the modules in the mirror mazes. They come in two forms, a primary and secondary, and the primary modules are used for your fighting stances and different attacks, and the secondary modules are more of things that complement them, different bonuses or buffs. Now, the primaries are found by defeating bosses in the mirror mazes, and the secondaries are literally hidden and scattered amongst the levels. All of these things are great ways to encourage players to fully explore these mirror mazes, and I really liked that part. I love when a game actually encourages progression and exploration through in-game rewards. It seemed like every single corner I found some type of goodie to bring back. Now, this might turn some people off who want what might be a typical Metroidvania experience, but I really love how it divvied up and divided the gameplay into different styles. It helped me not get lost and be able to set the game down for a day or two if I got busy and come back and not have to relearn and kind of refigure out where I was or what I was in the middle of doing. So let's move on to the narrative. So now that we have an idea of the gameplay, let's talk about the narrative aspects. So the game is set in the future. You are exploring approximately the year 3323 as an enforcer. The world has basically embraced AI and technology, and humans now live amongst fully Sentinel AI units. You are one of those AI units. Now, Primus, Mother, has collaborated with the humans to ensure a safe and civil society amongst both humans and AI, and everyone can thrive and be happy. Now, part of the way to stay this way is to make sure that everyone is sane and no one has crazy thoughts. That is where you as an enforcer come in. Your job is to jump into the mirror mazes. Remember, they're the representations of people going through essentially emotional turmoil. Jump in and defeat enemies, go take on the boss, and jump out. I like to think of this as kind of the Persona 5 jumping into people's palaces and changing their hearts. These mirror mazes are very elaborate. They are filled with pretty unique enemies. The environments are very unique and surprisingly colorful. And wrapping everything up in a pretty bow, a very unique boss. And we will touch on the bosses a bit more later. And we're actually going to wrap up the narrative section now because I don't want to go too far into it and give any spoilers away. Just know that it is basically a narrative revolving around humans and the influence of AI. Let's move on to retracing, the biggest mechanic in the game, the core of the gameplay. This is the first ability that you will receive, and it is literally something that you'll be mastering over the course of the first few hours of the game. By clicking a button, you will have a blue line trailing behind you and you will gain some speed. By clicking a second button, you can retrace to any point in that line, and boom, you have the retraceability down. This is crucial to master for both battling and just simple exploration. Many puzzles will actually require you to start the retrace from a high platform, jump down to activate some kind of key or lever, or simply start a retrace near a door, go hit a lever, retrace to be able to make it through before the door closes. Now, a little tidbit that it will teach you in the game, but something to not forget, is you'll be able to retrace certain items. So you can move different items around to help solve puzzles or get to areas that you wouldn't be able to prior. Now, when it comes to battles, you will be interacting a lot with the retrace ability because there's just so many ways that you can use it in fights. You can use it to dodge, you can try and help it get you closer to an enemy, and my favorite is getting into position to backstrike an enemy. And there will be blue shadows behind enemies, and if you retrace into those, you can immediately attack into a very powerful move that stuns the enemy. Overall, learning to master retraces for overworld battles will just make things quicker, smoother, and just a lot less annoying. And think about it, in addition to being able to move objects, you can also retrace the enemies themselves. I like to try and throw some enemies off ledges or throw them into bombs, so do whatever your heart desires and see what kind of madness you can come up with. Now for bosses, they are a bit too chunky to retrace, but the ability is crucial to be able to win the fights with them. Bosses move very quick and have very big attacks with even bigger attack ranges if they're, range. Retracing is the best way to stay alive and win the fight. So let's move on to the bosses and some exploration before wrapping up the video. Now let's jump back into mirror mazes since we know more about them. So each mirror maze represents a different person suffering from emotional turmoil. That means there is a very unique appearance and representation of the puzzles. Progression in the game just means more complex puzzles and different ways you have to think about incorporating retrace to get to the next platform or area. Each zone will end with a boss. This boss will have multiple phases, unique attack patterns, and especially a very standout design. The bosses are a huge part of why I actually really enjoyed this game. They're all unique, there is no reuse, and actually they're vastly different from even the minions in the mirror maze that you were fighting in. They will all have basically two phases that are pretty different, and I was never able to beat one on the first go. There was some of them that I got to the second phase, but there was just so many different attacks that every single boss has that I had to go about it a few times to really learn the attack patterns. And that's something that I really love. The second phase wasn't just the creature getting stronger, faster, or had bigger range. It completely changed how it functioned, moved, attacked. I really love how much time and effort and passion was clearly put in to every single mirror maze, minion, boss, puzzle. It made it to where the game was super frustrating and sometimes felt like it was just the buttons not inputting, but a lot of the times it was just the enemy got the best of me, which made it that much more satisfying when I finally beat each enemy. There were many times where I'd be stuck on an enemy for close to 20-30 minutes, and whenever it finally was defeated and I would see that victory screen, I had to just put the controller down for a minute. And for the exploration, the passion can still be seen there. The mirror mazes are shockingly beautiful. You can easily make the assumption that a mirror maze that is supposed to represent despair and depression would be dark, grueling adventures of black and white. But no, there's still a bunch of color. I thought it would be void of anything representing any kind of life, but no, the trees are a beautiful autumn shade, there's grass, the water is beautiful. Even though your home base might be sterile, white, silvers, and golds, the mirror mazes show that the humans have life still and that they are the ones that truly are void of emotions. It is incredible what subtle details and emotions that can be represented just by some color and how your backgrounds are represented. I think that it's a beautiful little subplot in minor detail that might be overlooked by someone just trying to get through the game and beat the bosses. You need to look and see what these stories are telling you, and I think that you will get a lot more out of the game. Go and talk to each person. Everyone has a pretty unique kind of personality, even though they're AI. They might not be human, but they do give a part of the story to help connect why you are doing this, why Mother has sent you here, and what is going wrong in this world. So to wrap things up, I really like Retrace the Light. I liked it from the very beginning, I liked it in the middle, I liked it at the end. I highly enjoyed every single minute with this game. I put in a little over 10 hours with my original run, and I've gone back to try and clean up some stuff to get a few achievements here and there since I've rolled credits, and it's just really a fun game. It's fun to control, it's fun to play around with. Overall, it's just a really good time, and even though it's not what I would typically think of as a Metroidvania, I still think that it is worth it to recommend to someone who would enjoy a Metroidvania. The story just dives deeper and deeper as you continue on with the Mirror Maze missions. So someone who likes narrative-driven stories, especially ones dealing with the complexity of AI in a human society, I think they would enjoy seeing what is happening, because this is not something that sugarcoats it. This is not something that kind of shines AI as some holy entity that is here to save us. So I would recommend this to fans of Metroidvanias, of story-driven games, of people who just simply like top-down 3D platformers. After putting a solid 10 hours into this game, I give it a very solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a great time, and the pacing feels perfect for a more shorter game like this. And with that, I wrap up my review, and I leave you with, I hope you got something out of it. Let me know if you want to check out Retrace the Light because of this video. If you wishlisted it, please drop a comment letting me know that. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up to let me know that I did a good job. And if you want to go the extra mile, look through my channel. And if you like what you see there, give me a subscribe so you don't lose me in the sea of YouTube content. And that's it. That's all I have. So let me know if there's any games that you would like me to cover in a future episode, and I will have the February demos video out next week for you guys. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the comments of a future video. Bye guys.